Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the very charming Kathy Holman.
Good morning.
Nice to have you here. You doing all right? Nice to see you.
I am thrilled to be here and not nervous at all to have a bunch of men with me today on this specific topic.
Not the first time that's happened, I'm sure.
Prairie Wife in Heels, ladies and gentlemen, is on the air, and the Heels hotline is 265-0000 if you'd like to join in the conversation.
We would love to hear some comments from the Peanut Gallery.
Absolutely. So a stay-at-home mom versus a working mom.
And I think we need to add the whole work from home mom, which is kind of a new thing that's happening with technology. I thought it would be really cool to talk about this since we do have some men, because I usually just get to talk to my girlfriends about this topic, you know, the struggles between stay-at-home mom, work from home mom. Right. And I would be fascinated to hear what you guys think. And actually what prompted this whole conversation is last week, me and all 5 kids went to Denver to drop my one daughter off at the airport, and I probably got stopped a dozen times in the Denver airport with these kids after me. I was asked if I was the nanny. I was asked if they were all mine. And I'm at this huge conundrum. I mean, maybe this is just my own personal angst, but I did the working mom gig until my second child was born. I was a teacher. That's what my degree is in. Right. Then I did the stay-at-home mom gig for about 10 years. Yeah. Then I did work from mom gig. And now, thanks to you lovely people, I am tiptoeing back into the working mom, and I have no idea how to describe myself. So, Bob, if I were to say, Bob, what do you do? How would you answer?
I would say that you're a marvelous, charming entrepreneur, and I would start with that. 5 children, though. When they stop you in the airport, did you just say none of your business?
No, that's not my style. You would not even believe. I mean, this is a whole week's worth of shows, all the comments that I have from people about if they're all mine, did I mean to have them?
Wow.
Yes.
I'm amazed at what people will ask.
You know what? This one time,
borderline rude.
Well, this one time at the airport, I had an infant and then a toddler, and one child was at home, and this guy came up to me and he said, you know, hey, are these both your kids? And I said, yeah, and actually I'm on vacation because one's at home. And he said, you have 3 kids, but your eyes are so sparkly still. And first of all,
You're
I was
not dead inside.
Well, I was like, okay, thank you for complimenting my sparkly eyes. But then I was like, what must his wife be going through that he noticed that? And that just goes with this whole thing of what is the best choice. Is stay-at-home mom the quote-unquote easier gig? Is the working mom the better gig? What do you guys think? But I don't actually know, Roger or Bob, what did your wives do? I don't know. Did you guys have stay-at-home wives, working? What?
I was going to read you this little quote that I found. It said, anyone who spends the greater part of their waking hours doing a job that takes away from their kids has to work. This is non-negotiable, even though I admit I am so guilty of putting up this defense mechanism. But it's just not true. And you found a website that, what was it, such and such .guilty?
So workingmomsagainstguilt.com, which, first of all, do we even want to get into the fact that there is a website called workingmomsagainstguilt.com? And some of the articles that were on there were time management tricks, calendar and schedule, printables, meal plans, recipes, emotional education, changing your perspective. So 2 comments I want to say about that. First of all, if you're a working mom, just looking at this website, it's obvious that you're still doing all the other quote-unquote regular mom stuff too, right? Because this whole website was dedicated to how do you do everything.
Sure. Right.
There was not a single post about having your husband help or hiring a job out.
Really?
You know, having someone, there was nothing on that. It was just more and more. And I also Googled working dad guilt. Do you think there's a website dedicated to that? Just to be a little feminist here. Nope, there is not.
Kevin Coyle.
We've offloaded all of our guilt on you.
Kevin Coyle and I had a conversation earlier about your topic, and Kevin, of course, is very active with Levi, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Kevin.
Hello.
And you don't mind being a working dad, and at the same time, you're a home dad, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, most of my stuff I do in the evening. Maybe in the morning I might just spot check a few things here and there, but
Sure.
I'm able to spend most of the daytime at home with my little boy, get him dressed, give him a bath, feed him, everything. I'm in some ways you could say I'm living the best of both worlds, and I enjoy it, and the little boy's doing well.
And Roger, your bride, she didn't work, did she?
No, Mary came along kind of late in life for us, and so she worked at several. She left TV and worked at several jobs. In the first chunk of the marriage, it'll be 36 years this summer.
Congratulations!
Thank you. And then Mary came along, and she's 20 now. So about midway through that marriage, boom, there's a daughter, and so she did the stay-at-home mom thing.
Did she enjoy it, do you think? I mean, what's your perspective on that?
She did.
They're getting a divorce.
She did, and she's taking the girl. She
now
did.
that all the hard work's done.
That's it, yeah. Now she can earn some money. She did, and you have to adjust income, because you don't have two incomes anymore. And this business pays so well. And she enjoyed it. But at a certain point around junior high, heading toward high school, boy, she was ready to look for something she could do, at least part-time, just to get the heck out of Dodge.
Well, and I have
for a few hours a day.
Yeah, I have a comment here from one of our readers that said her name is Fred, and it actually is a woman. She's one of my good friends, actually. And she said that it depends on the age of your children and your family situation, because she was home when her kids were little, and it was wonderful. Well, she's home now, and she has a college age and a teenager, and she said she's going crazy.
Yeah.
So I think that there's something to be said for being able to transition based on what works for your family. And as you were talking, Roger, I was thinking here in Wyoming, for example, for my family situation, my husband for 9 years was gone 4 days a week on the road, completely gone.
Yeah.
And that's pretty standard for Wyoming with us being an oil, you know,
energy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. So for us, we decided it was better to have one parent that was home all the time rather than both of us not there. And honestly, frankly, with him being gone, I don't know how, even when we only had 2 kids, I don't know how I could have handled getting up for work, getting the kids where they needed to be, getting home, and doing so much of it on my own for that big chunk of the week. And I think that's a real issue that then also leads to the guilt, because now he's home again. He's still gone like a couple days a week, and he is seeing how much he missed. He was gone for 4 kids being born and being infants and being babies. And it's actually been a little hard for him now that he is home to see what he missed with those older kids.
Well, for 4 days a week, it'd have been the equivalent of a single mom.
Yeah, I definitely was.
Doing it all.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty some days. I'm not going to lie. It wasn't always pretty. But you do what you have to do for your family, which leads back to some more comments on here. Devin said she's a stay-at-home mom, but it's only for a short time. She has to go back to work soon for financial reasons.
Sure.
And I'm hating that because my kids love me being home. I love me being home. But it doesn't work financially. And that's what breaks my heart. I have been blessed. Yes, of course, we had the paycheck to paycheck years on a single income, but I have been blessed that I was able to stay home. I had a choice, and I loved it. Honestly, I mean, with 5 kids, obviously I love kids. And with as a teacher before then, it was...
Well, you don't have any choice at this point. Yeah.
Well, daycare, right?
Sure.
Can you imagine? I mean, just a babysitter in the summer so I can come hang out with you guys.
That's it.
And that costs a fortune in itself.
Yeah, I'm buying her a new car by the end of the summer. I tell you what.
You have, speaking of anniversaries, you have one coming up.
I do.
14th?
Tuesday, the 26th is my husband and my 14th wedding anniversary. And then we met at Frontier Days at the beer tent. So this Frontier Days will be our 17-year dating anniversary.
Will you be going back to the beer tent or no?
My husband does not recall that first meeting, but we were... we had a lot.
Ask the bartender.
Yeah, you're right. Never a dull moment around here. So something I thought was interesting too. So those of you that listen to this segment weekly know that I'm a nerd and I have my statistics and everything. And there was Redbook did a poll. Why did you stay home? And 36% of women said because they wanted to. 15% said childcare is too expensive. So pretty much everything we just talked about. 7% said my career wasn't family friendly, which I think that's something that we need to work on, is the whole daycare thing and making that accessible for people and telecommuting. And 6% said my partner wanted me to. I did not like that one.
My bride, Jenna Sue, was she stayed home. She was working right up to pretty much the birth of Joshua, my first son, and then she stayed home pretty much.
Do you think she liked it?
I think so, but again, as you had mentioned earlier, as they begin to grow, the need to be fulfilled, personally and professionally, that comes back into it. So she went back out and did some of her own design work and so forth, and did some work for some others and so forth. But I felt fortunate that she was there. I really thought it was good.
And that's what I kind of was excited to have some guys on here, was to find out what you guys thought. I know my husband has said over and over, and Kevin, kudos to you, because my husband was like, he babysits, maybe two babysits here. I just did it. He sometimes has a few days with the kids while I travel or have doctor's appointments in Denver. And at the end of it, he is like, see you later, sucker. Thank you for doing this. I am not made for it. He would rather work two jobs, to make money than stay home with the kids. He's just not built for it. And frankly, that makes my job easier because he appreciates it.
I managed to work the first 6 months of Mary's life, work it so that I never had to change a diaper. The timing always worked out well. Let me just say a poopy diaper. The really nasty ones.
And I did. I changed those. I learned how to do that.
Well, I finally did.
Same here.
I couldn't do it forever.
My husband would do it at home, but he had a no changing diapers in public rule.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Because he was too scared of making a mess, or I don't know. Excuses.
I'm going to get thrown out of the restaurant.
Honestly, between me and my wife, we both thought that I wasn't going to. That this wasn't going to happen. We weren't going to be in this role, and then it just kind of panned out the way it did. There was, we kind of adjusted the plan as we could, and so far things are going well.
The child was a surprise? Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean,
I want to show you how that.
Poor Levi.
That's not it. We weren't.
Guys.
Hey, look, that's one of the questions I get all the time. How does that feel, Kevin?
We actually, let me reword that. We weren't planning on one of us being the stay-at-home type parents.
Yeah.
When we started a relationship long ago, but it's actually panned out rather well.
And I think, too, it's about that balance, about finding what fits for your family. And there's something to be said. Bob, you commented about how when, your wife, the kids got older, she needed to go do something to feel fulfilled. There's this certain fog that happens when you have young children. And I call it survival mode. And my kids are only 2 years apart. So, as soon as one is walking, we're pregnant with the next one, pretty much. So there was a solid 10 years of just survival mode. Let's just get through the day. Let's get people to school on time. And now my youngest is 3, and all of a sudden, like, angels are singing. I can go work out every week and go for a hike. Like, everyone's potty trained. We're going to drive 20 hours to Texas. I leave at 1 o'clock this afternoon. I promised Ann we will be on the road 1 o'clock. And I am not even nervous about it, because last time we did 20 hours, I had a 4-month-old. And I think there's something to be said for finding that balance and reevaluating where your family is.
Where are you going to Texas, by the way?
So my sister lives in Johnson City, which is right in between San Antonio and Austin.
Right.
So yeah, so that's what I was dropping my daughter off.
Name for LBJ.
Yeah, I've been to his boyhood home.
Indeed, as have I.
Are you leasing a bus?
Just using our regular bus that we drive everywhere around town in.
Well, what do you drive with 5 kids?
An Escalade.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I used to have a minivan, which I personally adored. I loved it. But once we had 5 kids and my husband had to drive that instead of his pickup truck, when we went anywhere as a family. For some reason, that just didn't fit.
work out.
He claimed it's because he was 6'3" and was too big for
Oh
us.
yeah, that's it.
I just want to say one quick thing as we wrap
Yeah.
wrap up. You know, my wife also spends some time at home with our little one, because when I'm here and all that, and she does equally as good of a job, if not better than me.
You are going to have a nice hot meal
He
on the
had to
table
say
when
that.
you get home tonight. Good job.
It's like that lawyer talk at the end of a commercial. That was obligatory. yeah.
Everyone heard that.
I love you, honey.
You're talking to your wife, I hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not you, Bob. Not you.
Thank-
Well, thank you so much for having me on again, guys. I love it, and I can't wait for next time.
Good to see you, kiddo.
Shining like a dime.